Jack stepped off his small shuttle onto the cracked, dusty surface of the ruined city. Rusted towers leaned at strange angles, and broken streets twisted between crumbling walls. He carried a small pack and a scanner, his eyes sharp for anything valuable. Most humans would never set foot here. Too many stories told of traps, rogue drones, and worse. But Jax didn't care. Scrap meant survival, and survival meant another day to live on the edge of the galaxy. He moved carefully, scanning the area. Broken machinery and piles of metal littered the streets. A faint hum came from a nearby tower. Jax's scanner beeped softly, signaling energy readings. He crouched, picking his way between twisted metal beams. "Someone left good tech behind," he muttered. His voice echoed strangely through the empty streets. The city had been abandoned for centuries after a great war between alien empires. Now only scavengers, wild creatures, and the occasional automated drone remained. Jax was not afraid. He had survived worse. Still, his instincts warned him to move slowly. Every shadow could hide danger. He climbed a broken staircase to the top of a half-collapsed building. The wind whistled through holes in the walls, carrying dust and debris into his face. The scanner beeped again. Something small, alive, and warm. Jax frowned. "Life shouldn't be here," he said. The planet was dead, ruined. Anything living should have died long ago. Following the signal, he found a small chamber behind a pile of rubble. The door was cracked and warped, barely hanging on its hinges. Inside, he froze. A small creature huddled in the corner. Its skin shimmered faintly, like liquid silver under the dim light. Its eyes were huge, dark, and intelligent, staring at him without fear. Jax felt a strange tug in his chest. He had seen many alien species before, but never like this. The creature made a tiny noise, almost like a chirp, and reached out a small hand. Jax's heart skipped a beat. It was alone, small, helpless, and somehow it had an air of authority, like it already knew it was important. Hey there," Jax whispered. The creature tilted its head as if studying him. His first thought was to leave it. Taking care of an alien baby meant danger he didn't want. But something stopped him. The tiny being had nowhere else to go. He knelt and held out a hand. "I'm not going to hurt you. I promise." The creature hesitated, then slowly crawled into his hands. Its body was light, almost weightless, but Jax felt the energy radiating from it. Something about this creature was powerful, even now. Jax carefully lifted it into his pack. "All right, little one, you're coming with me," he said. He knew. He had just taken a risk. Whoever or whatever this creature belonged to would come looking for it. And they wouldn't be friendly. As he left the building, he heard distant sounds. Strange engines, low and heavy. Jax froze. He scanned the horizon. Small ships appeared, hovering above the ruins. Bounty hunters, or worse. They had been tracking something, tracking this creature. Jax's pulse quickened. He knew he had to. Move fast. He ducked down alleys and under collapsed bridges, using the city's ruins as cover. The little alien chirped softly, almost like it was trying to communicate. Jax glanced at it, unsure what to do. "Hang on, kid. We'll get out of this." The hunters' ships fired pulses of energy at the ruins. Sparks flew, and metal screeched as walls collapsed. Jax rolled behind cover, shielding the alien with his body. He had no weapons, only his wits and whatever traps he could improvise. A beam of light swept past, narrowly missing him. Jax scrambled up a wall and pushed a pile of rubble toward the hunters' scanners. They hissed in alarm. "That's one way to slow them," Jax muttered, catching his breath. The little alien made a noise, and Jax realized it was trying to mimic him. He smiled. Somehow, it already understood more than a human infant would. He ducked into another ruined building, finding a small storage room. He set the alien down gently. The creature looked around, exploring, touching objects with curiosity. Jax couldn't help but laugh softly. "You're brave, little one," he said. "Braver than me right now." He checked his scanner again. The hunters were still following, but Jax had a plan. He knew this city better than any outsider. Narrow streets, broken floors, and collapsed towers could be used to his advantage. He would lead them on a chase they would regret. As night fell, the ruins glowed faintly under the light of distant stars. Jax wrapped the creature in a soft piece of cloth he found. Its eyes shone, reflecting the starlight. "I don't know who you are," he whispered, "or why you're here. But I'll keep you safe. I swear it." The alien made a tiny chirp, almost like an answer. Jax felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had come for scrap, for metal and tech, for survival. He had not expected this. Not to find life. Not to find something so small and fragile, yet so important. Jax stepped out of the building, scanning the ruins one last time before moving. The city was dangerous. The hunters were close, but he would not let them take this creature. Not now. Not ever. As he ran into the shadows, the little alien chirped again, louder this time, and Jax realized it had done something incredible. It had looked at him and, in its own way, had called him Dad. Jax smiled grimly. "Well," he said, to himself, "looks like my life just got a lot more complicated." And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel alone. Jax moved quickly through the ruined streets. The small alien curled safely in his pack. Every sound made him tense. Metal clanging, distant engines, the soft hum of drones left over from the old war. He had thought the hardest part was finding the baby, but now the real challenge had begun, keeping her alive. Above him, a shadow passed. One of the hunter's ships had spotted him. Jax ducked behind a crumbling wall, holding his breath. The little alien chirped softly. Jax could almost feel her fear, but also a strange calm. She seemed to understand the danger, yet trusted him completely. That trust made him fight harder. He peeked around the corner. The hunter ship hovered, scanning the streets with bright energy beams. They were fast, relentless, and well-armed. Jax had no weapon capable of taking them head-on. He needed a plan, something clever, something humans did better than any alien: improvise. He spotted a broken power conduit hanging above the street. Sparks arced from it, and he smiled. "That'll do," he whispered. With careful steps, he moved closer, dragging a pile of rubble in front of him to use as cover. He tied some wires from his pack to the conduit, creating a crude trap. The hunters advanced, their scanners sweeping the ruins. One of their drones dropped down, its mechanical limbs clattering on the broken pavement. Jax waited until it was directly beneath the sparking conduit. Then he triggered the trap. Electricity surged, and the drone shrieked as arcs of energy struck it. Sparks flew, and the drone collapsed in a heap of twisted metal. The hunter's ship paused, scanning for the source of the interference. Jax used the moment to dash to the next alley, his pack secure and the little alien safe. The streets twisted like a maze, and Jax used every advantage he could find. Collapsed walls, hidden tunnels, old maintenance shafts. They were his playground, and he knew them better than anyone else. The baby alien chirped again, her voice soft but determined. Jax smiled. She was learning, noticing the dangers around them, reacting to his movements. It amazed him how smart she was. At one point, they reached a wide street where the ruins had left tall pillars of metal. Jax crouched, thinking fast. He grabbed some loose pipes and stacked them carefully. Then he dragged a broken vehicle to one side. It was risky, but when the hunter's ship passed over, he pushed the pipes and the vehicle down. Metal crashed loudly. The hunters swerved, caught off guard. Jax took the chance to sprint across the street, keeping low and moving quickly. The baby alien chirped happily, almost cheering him on. He laughed despite the tension. Yeah, I know. We're a team now. But the hunters were smart. They anticipated his movements, scanning the ruins in patterns that were almost human. One of their smaller ships dropped close, firing energy pulses. Sparks flew as the blasts hit walls around him. Jax rolled behind cover, shielding the alien in his pack. "You're lucky I'm faster than I look," he muttered. He realized the little alien had started reacting on her own. When a drone appeared. Ahead, she emitted a strange hum. Jax felt the air vibrate as energy arced from her tiny body, knocking the drone sideways. Jax's eyes widened. The baby queen had power, real power, and she was already learning to use it. "Okay, kid, that's impressive," he said softly. "But don't get us killed yet." She chirped again, tilting her head, as if understanding his words. Jax felt a strange connection forming, deeper than any human friendship. She wasn't just a creature to protect. She had chosen him in her own way. Hours passed as they moved through the ruins. Jax scavenged bits of tech to repair small traps, making the hunters' pursuit harder. He even found a derelict hovercar and fixed its engine enough for a quick getaway if they needed it. The little alien watched him, fascinated, occasionally reaching out to touch the glowing controls. Jax chuckled. "Careful, you'll short-circuit." Night came, and the hunters paused, unwilling to continue in darkness without risking damage to their ships. Jax took the chance to rest in a hidden courtyard. He laid the alien down on a soft piece of cloth he found, and she curled up, chirping softly in a rhythm that seemed almost like a song. Jax sat nearby, scanning the stars. The city was quiet for now, but he knew the hunters wouldn't give up easily. He had to plan their next move. He thought of the baby alien's home, a place lost to war and time. If he could reach it, she would be safe. But getting there meant crossing dangerous territory, fighting not just hunters, but wild creatures, rogue drones, and maybe even hostile humans. Still, he didn't hesitate. He had made a promise, even if it was only in his mind. "I'll get you there," he said, softly, "no matter what." The baby alien looked up at him, her huge eyes shining in the dim light. She chirped again. Jack smiled, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Suddenly, a sound broke the calm. A distant roar, metallic and terrifying. Jax tensed. The hunters were back, and they had brought reinforcements. He grabbed the alien and ran, dodging falling debris and sparks from broken machinery. She clung to him tightly but didn't panic. It was as if she knew he was in control. Jax led them through twisting tunnels beneath the city, narrow enough that the hunters' ships couldn't follow. Sparks flew from broken wires overhead, and Jax used them to create light and distractions. The little alien's hum resonated with the energy around them, sometimes stopping small drones in their tracks. By dawn, they reached a safer area, a part of the ruins untouched by the hunters. Jax collapsed against a wall, breathing hard. The alien crawled onto his chest and chirped softly. He laughed, a mix of exhaustion and relief. "We made it, for now," he said. "And you're already amazing." He held her close, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had come to this planet for scrap, for metal, for survival. He had not expected to find life, much less life that depended on him completely. But as he looked into her glowing eyes, he realized one thing. He wouldn't leave her behind. Not ever. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of hunters and enemies, but together, Jax and the baby alien would survive. Together, they would fight, escape, and maybe even change the balance of power in ways no one expected. And somewhere deep inside, Jax knew one simple truth. He was no longer just a scavenger. He was a protector. Jax found a small, abandoned hangar at the edge of the ruins. Its walls were half collapsed, but the roof still offered cover. He set down the little alien carefully and looked around. The hangar smelled of rust and old fuel, broken machines, and scraps of metal littered the floor. It wasn't much, but it was safe for now. He unzipped his pack and gently placed the baby alien inside. She looked up at him, her huge eyes glowing softly in the dim light. She chirped, a sound that seemed almost like laughter. Jax shook his head and smiled. "You really are something else, kid," he said. "And you've got a voice that could wake the dead." Jax began inspecting the hangar. It wasn't just shelter, it could be a base. He found a few old energy cells, a half-broken generator, and some scattered tools. With these, he could make the place secure enough to stay for a few days. He worked quickly, rigging traps at the entrances and setting up alarms with the old sensors. Every noise, every shadow would alert him to danger. While he worked, the baby alien explored. She crawled over pipes, touched glowing wires, and made soft, humming noises. Jax watched her carefully. She was curious, clever, and quick. "Careful," he warned. "Some of this stuff could zap you in a second." But she ignored him in the most adorable way, tilting her head and looking at him with those enormous eyes. As the hours passed, Jax began to understand something remarkable. The little alien wasn't just smart. She understood things: energy, movement, and even strategy. When he tested a small trap, she reacted almost immediately, mimicking what he did, trying to help. Jax chuckled. "Okay, kid. You're learning, fast. But don't get any ideas about fighting hunters yet." After a while, Jax opened a storage locker he had found. Inside were old data cores, fragments of alien knowledge left behind in the ruins. He connected one to his portable scanner and began reading. The more he learned, the more he realized the creature's importance. She wasn't just any alien. She was the last of her kind, a baby queen, heir to a fallen empire. Jax's mind raced. If the hunters found her, they would kill or capture her. Entire warlords would pay fortunes for her. And yet, here she was, small, fragile, and completely dependent on him. He felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was about protecting the future of a species. The little alien chirped, again, almost as if she sensed his thoughts. Jax looked down at her and smiled softly. "Yeah, I know. It's a lot. But we'll figure it out together." She reached out and touched his hand, her tiny fingers surprisingly warm. He felt a strange connection, like a silent promise between them. Night fell, and the hangar grew quiet, except for the hum of the old generator. Jax sat on the floor, holding the alien close. "We need a plan," he said. "Hunters will come back. They won't give up. We have to be ready." He paused. "And maybe, just maybe, we can teach you to defend yourself. Carefully, though." The baby alien chirped again, and a faint glow appeared around her tiny body. Sparks of energy danced along her skin, reacting to her excitement. Jax's eyes widened. He had seen hints of her power before, but now it was clear. She could manipulate energy, maybe even in ways he didn't fully understand. He spent the next hours teaching her simple things: avoid danger, recognize threats, and move quietly. She learned fast, mimicking his gestures and responding to his voice. Sometimes she would hum softly, sending small pulses of energy that lit up the hangar. Jax laughed, amazed at her abilities. "You're incredible, kid. One day, you're going to surprise a lot of people." As the night deepened, Jax looked at her and thought about the future. The galaxy was full of danger, but also opportunities. If she survived, she could rebuild her empire, and humans could play a part in that story. But for now, survival was enough. He had to keep her safe, teach her what he knew, and trust that her instincts would guide her. A faint sound interrupted his thoughts, a distant rumble almost like an engine. Jax tensed, listening carefully. Nothing followed. He exhaled slowly. Probably nothing, or maybe a scout. Either way, he had traps ready, and he wasn't going to let anyone get close without a fight. He placed the baby alien gently in a makeshift crib he had assembled from old crates and soft cloth. She chirped and curled up, her glowing eyes closing slowly. Jax sat nearby, scanning the hangar one last time before letting himself relax. For the first time in days, he felt a little safe. Sleep came slowly, and Jax dreamed of strange things, of stars, ruined empires, and a tiny queen who trusted him completely. When he woke, the first rays of sunlight were shining through cracks in the roof. The baby alien was awake too, chirping softly, reaching out for him. Jax smiled. "Morning, kid," he said. She responded with a joyful chirp, as if saying, "We did it. We survived another night." He knew this was only the beginning. Hunters would return, dangers would come, and the galaxy would test them in ways he couldn't imagine. But together they were stronger than anything out there. He packed his scanner, checked the traps, and gently lifted her. "Time to move," he whispered. She chirped in response, climbing into his pack with surprising agility. Jax took a deep breath. The ruins were waiting, full of danger and secrets. But he had a new purpose now. He wasn't just scavenging for scrap. He was training, protecting, and raising a future queen. And as they stepped out into the ruined city, Jax felt something he hadn't felt in years: hope. For the first time, he didn't just survive. He belonged to something bigger than himself, and he would not fail. Not now, not ever. Jax moved cautiously through the narrow streets of the ruined city, the baby alien safely tucked in his pack. The morning sun reflected off broken glass and twisted metal, casting sharp shadows that danced with every gust of wind. He knew the hunters would not give up, and somewhere out there their scanners were still searching for him. He had been planning their next move for hours. The hangar had kept them safe for a while, but they couldn't stay hidden forever. Jax needed a path. Off the planet, someplace distant, where the little queen could grow without fear. He had salvaged a small hovercraft from the ruins, a patched-up vehicle that could carry them to the nearby asteroid belt. From there, he could find a neutral trade station and perhaps a way to get her safely off-world. As he approached the hovercraft, a sudden shadow passed over the street. Jax froze, scanning the sky. One of the hunter's ships had found him. Its sleek frame glinted in the sunlight, scanning with powerful energy beams. Jax's heart raced. He had known this day would come, but he wasn't ready for a fight in an open area. He ducked behind a pile of rubble, thinking fast. The baby alien chirped softly from the pack, sensing his tension. Jax touched the pack and whispered, "We've got this, kid. Stay calm." She responded with a hum, a vibration, that pulsed against his chest. He could feel her energy, small but strong, and it gave him courage. The ship descended slowly, and a drone detached, hovering silently above the ruins. Jax could see its mechanical claws and energy scanner. He grabbed a rusted pipe from the ground and held it tightly. Improvisation was his weapon. As the drone approached, Jax activated a trap he had set earlier. A broken power conduit sparked violently, sending a surge of electricity into the drone. It shrieked, spinning out of control before crashing against a wall. Jax didn't wait. He sprinted to the hovercraft, flipping switches and pushing levers. The engine sputtered, then roared to life. The hovercraft lifted off the ground just as another beam of energy passed dangerously close. Jax dodged between the ruined buildings, weaving to avoid the hunter's fire. The baby alien's hum grew louder, almost as if she was helping him sense the drone's movements. Sparks of energy flickered from her tiny body, nudging the hovercraft. Slightly when needed, Jax's grin widened. "Not bad for a kid, huh?" he said. The alien chirped in reply, almost like she understood him. He had thought her powers were small, but they were precise and clever. She was more than just a baby. She was a force to be reckoned with. They reached a wide street leading to the outskirts of the ruins. The hunters were closing in, but Jax had one last trick. He pulled a wire from the hovercraft, connecting it to a broken conduit above. Sparks flew as electricity surged through the street, setting off traps he had laid days before. Debris and sparks rained down, blocking the hunters' drones temporarily. Jax pushed the hovercraft forward, weaving through the chaos. One drone tried to ram them, but a pulse of energy from the baby alien sent it spinning into a pile of rubble. Jax laughed, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "All right, kid, that's teamwork," she chirped proudly, glowing softly in the confined cockpit. The hunters were relentless. Another ship appeared, larger and more heavily armed. It fired pulses of energy, striking buildings around them. Jax maneuvered skillfully, dodging debris and lasers. He realized that human ingenuity and quick thinking gave him an edge, even against advanced alien technology. The hunters underestimated humans, and he intended to use that to his advantage. As they approached the city's edge, Jax saw the asteroid belt in the distance. Freedom was close, but so were dangers. The baby alien's hum grew stronger, sensing the hunter's intent. Jax adjusted the hovercraft's course, weaving through narrow canyons and avoiding open spaces. Every second counted. Suddenly, one of the hunter's smaller ships lunged from behind a crumbling tower. Jax spun the hovercraft sharply, letting it crash into the tower. Metal twisted and sparks flew. The drone was caught, giving them a clear path. The baby alien chirped excitedly, her tiny body glowing brighter with energy. Jax pushed the hovercraft. Faster. Engines roaring. The asteroid belt loomed closer. Its rocky fragments scattered across space like broken jewels. He navigated between the larger asteroids, dodging debris and keeping a careful eye on the hunters. The baby alien hummed, rhythmically, almost guiding him through the obstacles. Finally, they broke free from the planet's atmosphere. Stars stretched in all directions, and the void of space surrounded them. Jax exhaled, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. For now, they were safe. The hunters would have to retreat and rethink their approach. The baby alien chirped loudly, as if celebrating their escape. Jax laughed and ruffled her head. "We made it, kid. But this is just the beginning." He glanced at the vast expanse of space ahead. Neutral trade stations, rogue planets, and unknown dangers awaited them. But with her by his side, he felt ready for anything. He adjusted the hovercraft's course toward a nearby station, a place where they could rest, gather supplies, and plan their next move. The baby alien climbed onto his shoulder, chirping softly. Jax smiled. She was small, but her presence gave him strength. She was not just a passenger, she was a partner. As they approached the station, Jax reflected on the journey so far. He had come to this planet for scrap, for survival. He had not expected to find life, let alone a creature so small and fragile. But she had changed everything. She was a queen, a future leader, and she trusted him completely. Jax felt a surge of determination. The galaxy was dangerous, full of hunters, warlords, and unknown threats. But he was human, clever, and resourceful. He had survived impossible odds before, and now he had a reason stronger than survival. He had a baby queen depending on him. The Wei station grew larger as they approached, lights glimmering against the darkness of space. Jax prepared for landing, checking the hovercraft systems and making sure the baby alien was secure. She chirped softly, her glowing eyes fixed on him. He reached out, touching her tiny hand. "We're almost there," he whispered. "Almost safe." As the hovercraft descended toward the station, Jax knew the first confrontation had ended, but the hunt was far from over. The galaxy would test them in ways he could not yet imagine, but together they had proven something important. humans, could survive, adapt, and protect the future of even the most powerful beings. And in that moment, with the baby alien safe and the station ahead, Jax realized something deeper. He wasn't just protecting her for survival, he was protecting her because she had become part of him. She had called him Dad, and that bond was stronger than any fear, any danger, or any enemy. He tightened his grip on the controls, taking a deep breath. The first confrontation was over, but the adventure had just begun. And with a small queen by his side, Jax knew one thing for certain. Nothing in the galaxy could stop them when they worked together. Jax docked the hovercraft at a neutral space station, a sprawling structure orbiting a small rocky planet. Ships of all shapes and sizes drifted in and out, and beings from countless species moved through the corridors. He kept the baby alien close, hiding her under a soft blanket in his pack. Even here, in a crowded place, danger could be anywhere. The station was a hub for traders, smugglers, and mercenaries. Jax knew it was risky, but he needed help. Supplies, information, maybe allies who could protect the little queen. As he walked through the corridors, he felt eyes on him. Some looked curious, some hostile. Humans were rare here, and a human carrying an unknown alien attracted attention quickly. He found a small, quiet corner in a cantina and sat down. The baby alien peeked. Out of the pack, her huge eyes scanning the room. Jax ordered a simple meal, careful not to draw attention. He needed to learn who he could trust. A group of mercenaries approached, their armor marked with unfamiliar insignias. One of them, a tall alien with 6 arms, leaned down. "What's in the bag, human?" he asked, voice rough. Jax tensed, but kept calm. "Just a small pet," he said, smiling faintly. The baby alien chirped in response, as if agreeing. The mercenary's eyes narrowed. Something about her glow made him pause. He stepped back. "Careful," he muttered. "Some things are more dangerous than they look." Jax knew this was his chance. He needed allies, not enemies. "I'm looking for help," he said. "Nothing illegal, just protection for a very small, very important passenger." The alien mercenaries exchanged glances, intrigued. Over the next few hours, Jax met others, rogue pilots, traders, and even a former bounty hunter who had grown tired of chasing prey. Slowly, he built a small team willing to help protect the baby queen. Each had their own skills: navigation, combat, strategy, and knowledge of the galaxy's many dangers. Jax felt a rare sense of relief. He wasn't alone anymore. Back in his room, he unwrapped the blanket and let the baby alien explore. She climbed onto his shoulder, chirping softly. Jax smiled. "You're going to like them. They'll keep you safe." She chirped again, her glow pulsing like a heartbeat. He laughed. "Yeah, I know. You're the boss, kid. Just don't get them into trouble too fast." But trouble was never far away. News of a small, glowing alien traveling with a human spread through the station quickly. Some were curious, but others were hunters in disguise. Jax had to stay alert. He checked every corner, every shadow, planning escape routes and preparing for ambushes. The baby alien sensed the tension. Her small body hummed, energy flickering. Jax realized she was reacting to danger instinctively. He put a hand on her back. "It's okay. We've got this." She chirped softly, nestling against him. The bond between them grew stronger every day. As night fell, Jax's team gathered in a hidden room. Maps of nearby systems, star routes, and old battle zones covered the walls. He laid out a plan. Move through uncharted routes, avoid major trade lanes, and reach a secure planet where the baby queen could grow safely. The team nodded, impressed with his strategy. One of the mercenaries, a grizzled alien pilot, spoke up. "You've got guts, human. Most wouldn't last a day out there with something like that." Jack smiled faintly. Guts and luck. That's all a human needs sometimes. The pilot laughed. Maybe so, maybe so. The little queen chirped from Jax's pack, almost as if agreeing with him. Jax looked down at her glowing eyes. She was small, but she had a presence that commanded respect. Even adults, humans, and aliens alike were drawn to her. She wasn't just a baby, she was a future leader, and they were all a part of her story. Now, suddenly, alarms blared in the station. Security drones moved quickly, scanning for intruders. Jax tensed. Someone had reported the baby queen. He grabbed her carefully and followed his team through hidden passages. They moved swiftly, avoiding detection. The little alien hummed, sending small pulses of energy that interfered with the drone's sensors. "Good girl," Jax whispered, smiling despite the tension. "You're already amazing," she chirped proudly, climbing onto his shoulder. Jax felt a rush of pride. She trusted him completely, and he would not let her down. By the time they reached the outskirts of the station, the alarms had died down. They slipped into a small cargo bay where a ship waited, ready for departure. Jax checked the engines and navigation systems. Everything was in order. He set the baby alien gently on the control panel. She chirped, her glow lighting up the room. "Ready, kid?" he asked. She chirped again, almost like saying yes. As the ship lifted off, Jax reflected on the journey so far. He had come to this galaxy for survival, scavenging for scrap. Instead, he had found something far more valuable: life, trust, and purpose. The baby queen had changed everything. He was no longer just a human surviving in a dangerous galaxy. He was a protector, a father, and a leader in his own way. Outside the window, stars stretched endlessly, and the galaxy seemed alive with possibilities. Jax knew the path ahead would be dangerous. Hunters would come, warlords would seek her, and countless unknown threats waited. But he had allies now, clever humans and aliens who would stand by him. And he had the little queen whose intelligence, courage, and energy would guide them through the darkness. He tightened his grip on the controls and looked at her glowing eyes. "We're going to make it, kid. Together," she chirped, her tiny body pulsing warmly. Jack smiled, feeling hope he hadn't felt in years. The galaxy was vast, and danger was everywhere, but they were ready. No matter what came next, Jax knew one thing. He would protect her, raise her, and help her survive. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and together, human and alien, they would prove just how strong a bond could be. The ship glided silently through the empty stretch of space, stars shimmering on every side. Jack sat at the controls, glancing down at the baby alien perched on his shoulder. Her tiny body glowed softly, and she chirped as if sensing the journey's danger. Jack smiled. He had come to the galaxy for scrap, for survival, but now he carried something far more important: the last hope of an alien empire. He checked the navigation system again. The nearest safe haven was a hidden planet, uncharted and protected by natural asteroid belts. It was a dangerous route, but safer than open space. Jax had calculated the risks, and he was confident. With the baby queen and his team, he had a chance to finally give her the safety she deserved. Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. A shadow appeared on the scanner. Hunters, several ships, faster and more aggressive than anything he had faced before, were closing in. Jax tensed, feeling the adrenaline surge. He tapped the controls, weaving through the asteroid fields with precision. The baby alien chirped, her glow intensifying. Jax felt her energy, subtle but powerful. It pulsed in rhythm with his heart, and somehow it guided him. He realized she was helping not just a passenger, but a true partner in survival. "All right, kid," he muttered. "Time to show them what humans and future queens can do together." The hunters opened fire, beams slicing through space. Jax dodged swiftly, using the asteroids as cover. Debris and fragments of rock floated dangerously close, but he navigated them expertly. The baby alien hummed softly, sending pulses of energy that disrupted the hunter's targeting systems. One ship veered off course and collided with a small asteroid. Sparks exploded across its hull. Jax grinned. "Not bad, huh?" The baby alien chirped proudly, her glow pulsing brighter. She was small, but her power was growing, and together they were unstoppable. He pushed the ship faster, diving deeper into the asteroid belt. Hunters struggled to keep up, colliding with rocks and losing formation. Jax felt a thrill. Human ingenuity, instinct, and courage were giving them the edge. The baby alien's energy shimmered around her tiny body, amplifying their advantage. Suddenly, one of the hunter's larger ships emerged ahead. It blocked the path, massive and menacing. Jax's eyes narrowed. "Looks like we have company," he muttered. He gripped the controls, ready to act. The baby alien chirped, glowing fiercely, almost challenging the enemy. Jax had an idea. He led the ship toward a narrow canyon within the asteroid field, too tight for the large hunter ship to follow easily. As they entered, the baby alien extended, her tiny hands sending out bursts of energy. Sparks arced across the canyon, striking the hunter ship's hull. It shuddered, its weapons briefly disabled. "Good job, kid," Jax shouted. She chirped in response, glowing with excitement. Together, they darted through the canyon, using the terrain to their advantage. One by one, the hunter ships fell behind, unable to maneuver as deftly. Finally, the last ship fired a concentrated beam, striking the hull near the engines. Jax felt the ship shudder violently. Alarms blared. He gritted his teeth and worked the controls, diverting power to shields and dodging debris. The baby alien hummed in rhythm, her glow intensifying, almost merging with the ship's energy. A pulse of energy erupted from her, knocking the last hunter ship off course. It collided with an asteroid and exploded in a brilliant flash. Jax exhaled, leaning back in his seat. The immediate danger was gone. The baby alien chirped softly, crawling into his lap. He held her gently, feeling the warmth and energy of her tiny body. "We did it," he whispered. "We really did it." She chirped again, almost like she was saying, "Yes, Dad, we did it together." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and Jax guided the ship toward the hidden planet. He kept a careful eye on the sensors, scanning for threats. None appeared. For the first time, he felt a sense of calm, a rare moment of peace in a galaxy full of danger. When they reached the planet, it was quiet and untouched, a safe haven surrounded by natural defenses. Jax landed the ship carefully, setting the baby alien down on the soft ground. She chirped and ran a few steps, exploring the new environment with wide eyes. Her glow reflected off the planet's rocks, casting tiny, shimmering lights across the landscape. Jax watched her, feeling a deep sense of pride. She was small, but already strong, clever, and brave. She had survived countless dangers and trusted him completely. In that trust, he found purpose. He had come to the galaxy for scrap, but he was leaving as her protector, her father, and her guide. His team arrived shortly after, helping unload supplies and setting up a secure area for the little queen. They looked at her with awe and respect, recognizing her significance. Jax smiled, realizing that together they could create a safe home, a place where she could grow and learn without fear. As night fell on the hidden planet, the baby alien chirped softly, glowing under the stars. Jax sat beside her, keeping watch. The galaxy was still dangerous, full of hunters, warlords, and unknown threats. But here, in this moment, he felt hope. He had survived impossible odds, and now he had a reason stronger than survival, protecting a future queen. He held her tiny hand gently. "We've made it this far, kid, but our journey isn't over. We'll face more dangers, more enemies, and more challenges. But I promise you this, I will always protect you, no matter what. She chirped in response, glowing warmly, as if understanding every word. Jax looked at the stars above, thinking about the journey ahead. The galaxy would test them, but they were ready. Together, human and alien, they had proven something important. Courage, ingenuity, and trust could overcome even the greatest dangers. The baby alien climbed onto his shoulder, chirping softly. Jax smiled and gently stroked her glowing head. He realized that life had a strange way of giving purpose where he least expected it. He had come for scrap, for survival, but he had found something infinitely more valuable: life, trust, and hope for the future. And as he sat there watching the little queen explore her new home, he knew one thing for certain. He was no longer just a scavenger, a survivor, or a human wandering the galaxy. He was a protector, a father, and a guardian of the last hope of an alien empire. The galaxy could throw anything at them, but together they would face it. And Jax knew deep in his heart that the bond between them, human and future queen, was stronger than any threat, stronger than any hunter, and unbreakable. The journey had begun with scrap. It had ended with purpose, courage, and a promise. Jax looked down at her glowing eyes and whispered, "Welcome to your new life, kid. Together, we'll make sure it's a good one." She chirped in agreement, and for the first time in a long time, Jax felt that the galaxy, dangerous as it was, could also be a place of hope.